Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We're getting to cast a series of Protoss vs Zerg. We've seen him kicking butt in PvT lately. Really surprising people. Finally getting back into his element. A man that used to manhandle me in my pro days. Very one-sidedly back when he was winning GSLs in 2014. And he's finally looking like he belongs in the top again. He was still a solid top 16, top 20 sort of player in career, I think, from the moment he got back from the military. Lots of close series, but he just couldn't quite string it together into a really deep tournament run. That's all changed with the Korean Royale. And this here is actually a finals from the Korean StarCraft League, hosted by Dave, Tester, and Chicken Man. Those legends crowdfunding a really high prize pool weekly tournament. This one's from a while ago, that it's been sitting on my list as a highly recommended cast for a while, and it just kept not getting, it kept getting pushed down because other cool, Cyril's playing, Maru's playing, and, what can I say? I'm a shameless simp when it comes to those two. Same with Hero. But Classic's been doing so well recently that I can't ignore him any longer. Solar as well has actually been monster mode against Solar, eliminating Hero from GSL, so we can't look past Onside Gaming Solar. But very curious to see what happens in Protoss vs Zerg, because I think this is a matchup where a Protoss player can be excellent at PvP. Classic was very, very high skilled at PvP the moment he came back from the military. Felt like he was, straight back to his old skills with the strategy of that matchup. His PvT has really got up there, but PvZ is often the one that lags behind. And that's because Zerg can be a bit of an enigma. And you might get really good at PvZ against, say, Serral style. But then you can't beat Reyna because he plays so different. Or Solar just keeps catching you off with those queen walks, those big roach queen walk shoves that he does across the map. Or Dark's crazy Baneling busts and his Nidus Worm all-ins. I think it's the variety and how different every Zerg player plays the matchup that makes it so difficult for the Protoss players. And it's always about kind of developing your own way of playing against each individual Zerg and getting really on top of your scouting to make sure you're never surprised by anything. So far, pretty quick third base, being taken instead of the natural. Solar usually goes creep, and I think even double creep tumor when he's forced to do this. Helps him defend the Adepts a little bit. 6 Zerglings is pretty standard. He's got 3 Zerglings there. Did he lose one? Oh, he's going to go 3 Lings in the main, 3 at the third. Oh, what a technical split. I like that. Normally people do 4 in the third and 2 in the main, but he's like, no, 3 on each side will shut it down. And the Adept has to get cancelled. Stalker behind this is actually a Stargate, but with a Stalker. Oh, interesting, guys. So he's gone for the Stalker, but the Overlord's far back. Okay, so I thought he faked the Stargate, but he didn't, guys. He didn't fake Twilight Council. The reason is Solar saw that wasn't spinning because he did not start Warp Gate on time. So this is actually Solar knows exactly what's happening. No surprises. Classic's doing a very standard Oracle opening. Stalker's going to deny that Overlord. That's pretty effective. Adept does manage to get a kill. Can he get the creep tumor? Ooh, a Zergling and a tumor. If he can get out of there, that'll be great. The Zergling's trying to hunt him down right now. Stalker will take out the Overlord. Oracle ready to secure that third base. Probe's going to move out there. This is looking like a really clean setup so far. As I say that, the Adept shades into a Lynx around. Uh-oh. But second Adept is there, so it's actually not too bad. Does take out a couple of Zerglings. The Adept goes down. Oracle's about to do its first drive-by of these mineral lines. Spore Crawler is not quite ready, but you don't want to take a lot of damage. Not too bad. 1 drone for 24 hit points is totally fine. But the natural is probably the most exposed base right now. Solar realizes it. You can see his queens are shifting in that direction. Let's go to Solar's camera really quickly. Evo Chamber for a quick +1 melee. Looks like he wants to play pretty standard Ravager Bane stuff. I would say I'm a bit critical of his Overlords. I feel like he's lacking an Overlord in this top left side. And these Overlords are also very close. Which is good if your opponent goes Void Ray or Phoenix, but he's not doing that. Luckily, he sees the Oracles coming in on the left side anyway. I mean, I can criticize his lack of vision. It only matters if he takes big damage. 3 more drones is not the end of the world. It's still effective for Classic. It's definitely not the situation where you're getting no damage. But the Oracles are taking a lot of damage. There's 3 of them out of the map. Twilight Forge and extra gases on the natural for Classic right now. The third base finishing pre-5 minutes. It's a clean macro build. The question is, 4 more gateways already. Are we going to see Charge? I think we might see Charge Archon into Disruptor. Classic does like this style, so keep our eyes on it. When that Twilight finishes, we'll be finding out. because Stalkers suck versus Masslings. I mean, he hasn't seen the Evo chamber, but he's about to see a quick 4th base on the left, which is a big indicator. The fact that you haven't seen a single Roach this game, you've only seen Zerglings, and in fact, the Roach Horn only just started, is another big indicator of that as well. The Oracles wanted to get rid of the creep, but the Queens are there. They see the 4th base. That's an easy snipe. The creep is close, but not close enough. That's going to have to get cancelled. 150 hit points, 120, 80. Nice cancel. That goes down. That's about a 45-second delay on that base, guys. He grabs a drone, moves it over there. Oracle's going to the natural looking for more. They see the very late Roach Horn. It's 2 things you're looking for now. Is there going to be a Spire for Solar in the follow-up? And other than that, it is actually Blink. So Classic is going Blink Stalkers. Interesting. I think keeping him off a 4th base makes you much happier to play this style. It means there's a lot less lava for Solar, who's going to need to go for a macro hatchery or a 5th base if he wants to keep up production in this game. Adepts are going to dive in. Zergling's out of position. Oh, Classic messed up his focus fire a little bit there. Look at that. Gets 3, gets into the mineral line, making it hard for those Zerglings to engage. He could take out 1 or 2 more drones if he focus fires here. And he's going to get 1 more. Very nicely done. 4 workers for 3 adepts. Not the most amazing in terms of units lost, but it's good to get that damage in with those units that don't really serve a function the later this game goes. Triple Oracle and Stalkers moving down the left of the map. The fact that that 4th base got picked off, I think it's just a reminder for Zerg players. You've got to spread creep to that 4th or you can't defend it from the Triple Oracle. And now with the Stalkers, if he gets another cancel on that, then that's huge doo-doos for Solar. Oracles... needs to turn just 1 Oracle on, I would say. Oh, he turned them all on. Oh, no. I call that the Haas. For those who don't know, back in 2016, Haas was massing Oracles every game versus Zerg. And I remember it was really funny because he'd get way ahead and then he'd start playing like a bit of a baboon where he'd have like 20 Oracles and a few Zerglings would run in and he'd turn 20 Oracles lasers on at once. Which for those who don't know costs 25 energy to activate and then drains 2 energy a second that it's turned on. And the Lings would of course just turn and run away. And then they'd come back in after he turned his laser off and he'd activate all 20 Oracles again. And you'd be like, you don't need to do that. You can turn 1 Oracle on. It kills Lings so fast they will run away. So a little bit wasteful of the energy for Classic. I don't think you'll be making that mistake too many more times. As you can see, the Oracle's now very low on energy. Hey, not bad. Queen does get blinked on and taken out. Revelation going to keep this creep in control. Double Colossus production coming, dude. Double Colossus +2. Solar's scouting is just not there. He's got an Overseer on the left side. He needs to get it in the base right now. He's got a decently timed infestation, but I don't think there's any way he gets Hive out ready for this Colossus timing. Solar also never built that macro hatchery. He's trying to get a 5th base. He's mixing in more Roaches and Ravagers. Hive does start. So he's going to have Vipers with Abduct ready at about the 10-minute mark, guys. It takes 70 seconds for the Hive to finish. And then you've got to start building the Vipers. They take about 30 seconds to build. And they've got to consume some energy off a building before they can Abduct. Well before then, we're going to have 3 Colossus out. He's actually going for the 4 Colossus timing. Looks like he's not even going to wait for all of them. He's going to rally the others in. 4th Nexus, 2 more Pylons are on the way right now. But this is a huge push. No Warp Prism. He's just going to be warping in from home and running across the map. But I don't think Solar's ready for this. He's on 82 workers. He's up 15 workers. He's got a handful of Roaches, which are way outnumbered by the Stalkers. And his Lings will get wrecked by the Colossus. Ooh! Ooh! Ah! What are you doing out there? Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Surprisingly, Classic not pushing right now. He's waiting for +2. He's waiting for the extended thermal lance. Oh! Solar came in and took a dump on that production facility. That robo does get delayed a little bit, but extended thermal lance is almost there. He's rotating to attack the other side. Banelings are morphing. There's only about 20 Banelings right now. +1 range is not there. So the Roaches, remember, are 0-0 Roaches. And the Lings kind of get wrecked by the Colossus. Massive Ling run by, getting ready on that side as the Stalker Colossus moves in. Oh! Get to the choke point! Get to the choke point! Get to the chopper! Ah! Colossus goes down there to the Mass Zergling counterattack. Very nice backstab. There are still 3 Colossus on the front, though. I think a Zealot Warpin will be able to defend this. Cannon battery on that base is ready. Here we go. Stalkers go a little bit far forward. Classic is looking a little pedantic right now. But at the same time, the Vipers are only now building. Remember I said you're not going to have Abducts till 10 minutes. 5th base gets picked off. Classic is on a composition that is counted by Abducts. But those Vipers are not ready. He's still got another 30 seconds. If he can force a fight, it's going to be good. Big angle coming in for Solar, but a stasis in the rear. It looks amazing. Another stasis freezes up a lot of those units. 1 Colossus is very far forward, but look at these Oracles. Oh man, the Oracles and the Ready Point Colossus is going to survive as well. That was an amazing engagement there for Classic. Coming out way on top. All 3 Colossus still standing. There's no Banelings left. All you've got is a handful of roaches and ravagers. The Vipers are now ready with energy wherever they are, probably up here in the top left. Indeed they are. There's so many Stalkers. I think the Stalkers alone may be able to win this game right now. Viper's going to come in. They do the abduct. No sick hero pickups for Classic here. You can run the Prism forward and try to pick them up the moment they get abducted. It's very hard to pull off, though. Another abduct comes in, but Classic says, that's fine, mate. I killed your 5th. I killed your 4th. I have 38 Blink Stalkers with +2. Oh, by the way, I'm also probing my 4th up, so I've got that follow-up if needed. Templar Archives going into Archons behind this would be a good idea. He's actually not ahead on work as Classic. And he's on Mass Stalker. He needs to keep fighting. I think he's taking a little bit long. He doesn't want to go too deep on creep because the Lings and Roaches and Banelings get a big advantage there. But I do feel nervous about just sitting here with Mass Blink Stalker. You want to keep the trades going. Oh, no! Gigantic ball lands. Abducts come in. Oh my god, another one lands. He misclicked one of the abducts on a Stalker. Solar not happy with that. And Classic comes in. Slip, slap, slop. Takes Solar out in game 1. All right, guys, going into the next game. Classic had a pretty good start to this series. We'll see if Solar tries to disrupt him here on Babylon. A very small map, a good map for Queen Walks. And Classic is, the main criticism I've seen aimed at him from the community is he's a little predictable. So I do want to see him mix in some more cannon rushes and that sort of stuff. Sorry, still had my alerts on. Thank you, reiterations. I want to see him mix in some more cannon rushes. He used to be famous for mixing those in occasionally back in the day. And just mixing in some timing attacks and that sort of stuff. If he keeps playing Stalker Colossus every game, I won't be very impressed. But I think it's a good way to start the series. Gives the Zerg something to be worried about. We were discussing how Banelings don't take bonus damage from Colossus. They're no longer light units. They are still biological. But I believe much like the Ravager, that's the only tag they still have. And that means they only take bonus from Archons, because I think Archons are the only units with bonus to biological. As I say that, Spore Crawlers do have bonus 30 damage to, or 15 damage, whatever it is, to biological. Spores do a lot more damage to Overlords, Mutalisks, that sort of stuff than anything else, but I think it's just those two. No other bonus or to biological that I can think of off the top of my head. In Heart of the Swarm, Mutalisk's got a big movement and acceleration speed buff. And that actually made the Mutalisks super overpowered in Zerg vs. Zerg. And like you could build spores around your base, but the mutas were so fast, they just didn't care. They just go around and pick off spores one at a time. And it just felt very oppressive, and it was basically forced mass muta versus mass muta. So they initially added plus 30 damage to the Spore Crawler. So rather than just doing 15 damage a shot, it was doing 45 damage a shot. And 3-shotting Mutalisks. And I think they toned it back down to just plus 15. So it barely needs a... So it does 4 shots, gets the Muta to 1 hit point, 5th shot kills it. When they first buffed it, in ZvZ, a lot of players... would build a Spore Crawler, hide it in the back of their base, and then uproot it and run it forwards and root it on the edge of creep. So as the Overlord was poking in, this Spore Crawler would run forward, root, and it would like kill the Overlord in like 5 shots. It was the funniest thing ever. Like Katz was doing that every game. It was really hilarious. Because like if you reacted quick enough, you could pull back, but you needed to react almost instantly. It was like crazy how fast the Overlord died. I do remember seeing a game as well where someone walked the Spore Crawler across the map, rooted it on the opponent's creep, and they just were so confused that a Spore was coming across the map, they didn't do anything, and it killed an Overlord in the enemy's base. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. I was like, what are you doing, man? Looks like another standard Oracle opening for Classic. No real damage to be spoken of. I'm just going to try and push back that Overlord. Zerglings could come in to try to just force the Oracle to turn its laser beam on, but overall, pretty solid opening for Classic, man. Stalker's just going to chip at the Zerglings a little. Overlord moves back to the pillar. Let's check Classic's control group. Stalker on 1, Oracle on 2. Stalker not in the wall off right now. And that pylon placement, good for building static out here, but it creates no choke points, so he has to use these gaps in the minerals. Double Oracle going down the bottom left side. There's 3 queens there, and a Spore finishing in the main and the natural right now. Or the main and the 3rd base location, I should say. Robo coming out. Interesting. A quick Robo in the follow-up for Classic. Now, sometimes people like to rush out like disruptors if they think there's going to be a queen walk. But it could just be he wants to go immortals and go in for more of a charge immortal focus style. 3 drones and keeps the Oracle alive, which is good, but 1 hit point, which means that Oracle isn't really much use for the rest of this early game. 10 Zerglings out. These Adepts should cancel the Shade, in my opinion. Committing in there would be pretty wasteful. But, of course, he only saw a few of the Zerglings, so he commits to it. Gets 2 more drones, makes it 3 more. And a couple Zerglings go down as well, so not a bad trade, actually. Nicely done by Classic there. Units lost tab showing it is in favor of Classic. Only 2 Oracles this time, and indeed... Oh, he's going for a big all-in, big push. I was telling you guys, yeah, you want to keep your opponent guessing. So he's going to go for a 2-base push. This is a fake third, only 45 workers. 2 Immortal Sentry Stalker push, I believe, is what this is. Or is it even only 1? He might only go 1 Immortal straight in for a Warp Prism. But it's going to be revealed that there is not many probes there. So does this give away what he's up to? He's building probes on that third to sell the story right now. He's hiding his sentries and immortals in the main, but the Overlord comes in and sees it. Solar's scouting's too good, man. trying to pretend by sending probes to the third does kind of cost him. Solar now very wisely stops at 56 workers, starts massing Roachling. Prism is almost out. This is going to be a pretty hard attack for a player who doesn't see it coming to stop, but it does feel like Solar's well set up, man. That's good damage, though. I do wonder if Classic, after having this scouted, could have gone back to a macro game. Because he's left the Overlord in his main, I mean, it's obvious he's 100% committed. With only a single Immortal, it's going to be tough to do this. This sort of push, you really want to be more of a surprise. Lings are going to come in, see nothing on that third. Solar says there is no reason for me to rebuild drones. I know you're going to attack into me. I just need to make as many Ravagers and Lings as possible now. He's already got a good core of Roaches up. It's all about Ravager Ling because of the force fields. You need Biles to break those force fields. Lings backstabbing is fantastic. This really makes Classic feel like he's very committed. He's already full-walled the natural, so it's all just about holding this. Trying to break the rocks, doesn't get that down in time. Queens do get trapped up front. He's going to try and bile those force fields. The Queens are stuck. They try to pull out of there. Lings, Roaches, Ravagers. He doesn't really want to fight. Something's coming from behind, but actually, nice angling so far by Classic. It seems like a good fight so far, but remember, he's used all of his force fields. He's got 1 left. So now, good force field blocking one of the biggest choke points. It's been a really good fight so far for Classic. Will it remain a good fight, though? That's the question. It's mostly just Stalkers and an Immortal now up against a massive Zerg. Pretty good force field on the left. Is Classic overcommitting, though? His third base will eventually go down to those Zerglings behind this. The army on the front starting to get whittled down. That Immortal taking a lot of damage. These Queens, with their transfuse, have done so much to buffer the Stalker and Immortal hit points. Stasis Trap goes to... Oh, it barely gets focused, as does the Oracle before the Stasis could go off. The middle of the fight, Stasis, it's always a ballsy maneuver, but when you pull it off, it looks so sick. Doesn't manage to get it, though. Third Nexus will die behind it. There is no chance for a transition. 10 drones have gone down. Maybe if he can keep these units alive, Classic could pull back and win this game. He's trying to warp in more Stalkers. The Immortal does pick up. The Queen's shoving forward to go after the Prism. The Prism, if it survives, he's okay, but it doesn't. Oh, nice catch there for Solar. Does take out the Prism, and U1 builds. Now, Classic, if he had a third up, he'd be fine, but his third is done. Those Zerglings are forcing him to keep on committing here. The Immortal goes forward. The Stalker's fighting. This is so close. Those Lings going after the Immortal, and it falls. Solar may be down on workers, but as long as he shuts this down, he can re-drone very quickly. Classic has no army supply, and that means he is done for. As these last Stalkers go down, he's dead. He might stay in it for a minute, but it's really not worth it. There's no way Solar dies to this. I think Classic is like, well, I killed a lot of drones, so maybe he's only on 30, 35 workers. Maybe I have like way more economy, and I can like rebuild faster than him. We can see Roach speeds on the way. Roaches, Ravages, a couple drones are being rebuilt. But I think as long as you see that he's still walled in, you want to do pretty much nothing but Roach Ravager from here. Roach Ravager, Zergling, unupgraded Stalkers are not going to cut the Mustard, guys. Now, you might be wondering, how do you cut Mustard? Well, basically, cutting Mustard is very easy because it's like basically an almost liquidy paste. You could cut it with a bloody spoon, and yet this can't even do that. A couple of Stalkers, slow Zealots and Sentries. Great dodging of the force field so far by Solar. 1 Queen will go down pretty quickly, but you know what? That's a lot of Roach Ravagers. Zergling collapsing on top of that. And he is smashing through the slow Zealots, really not putting up a great fight. Great force fields there to trap them, but he just doesn't have the firepower to actually punish the Roaches for moving into those force fields. Great micro by Classic. I love seeing an old school timing. But Solar, with a perfectly timed Overlord Scout, great Ling pressure on the third, and he saw that something was up. If he scouted even 30 seconds later, I think Solar might die there, but very well played by Solar. Holds the all-in. All right, let's get into game 3. Classic at the bottom right side of Dragon Scales. Once again, blocking that hatchery. I wonder if Solar and the Koreans are going to catch on with the 15 hatch. I really feel 15 hatch is so worth it when people are pylon blocking every game. Like, it's so amazing to do it. And I'm surprised more players aren't doing that against players like Classic that do it every game. I think when the Protoss is like Hero and half the time they just don't scout at all, it's a pretty good way of doing it. But, you know, you're like, I don't want to risk going 15 hatch. They didn't even scout, had a really economic opening. I messed up my build a little, but yeah, I'm curious to see if that catches on in high-level play. Either way, for now, it is pretty standard, straightforward. Nexus into Cybercore. Build 1 probe, 75 minerals on the second gas, 100 minerals for the second pylon, which I guess he'll probably build there, trying to get lots of production space on that. You gotta remember that if you build that pylon there, you don't actually build another pylon for a long time, and you've only got a limited bit of area to build buildings, whereas building it there, he's got lots of space. Probe comes back in the main. Drones have been fighting him off pretty well, though. And pulling off Ling speed starts at 2 minutes 15. Very well timed. Classic is chronoing an Adept, but I don't think he's going to be highly aggressive. Now, he's actually faking Stargate, guys. Notice the Overlord of Solar. He sees that's not spinning. That starts spinning way too late. He goes, it's a Stargate build. And Solar never checks in with the Overlord to confirm. So he's going to think it's Stargate when in fact it's Twilight. Let's see if Classic can continue to sell that story. Because he always goes Stalker. He always goes Adept Stalker even when he plays Stargate. This is the reason why. So when he does change it up and goes for Adepts, he's actually going to be doing that. Very nice. Okay, third base is there. Overlord's still just chilling on the pillar. Robo going up in the back as well. Now you got to time that second gate to make it look like a Stargate build, which I don't think is too difficult. Glaive starting up behind this. I think you actually want to build a second gateway with this build about the same time as you would with the Stargate anyway. He does build it there first, so he's delaying that gateway going up because, of course, normally, yeah, he wants it to go down. He's like, oh yeah, I started my Oracle, now I go for the second gateway. This is really well played by Classic. Especially if Solar starts a Spore Crawler in that main in the next few seconds, which he might not do because he's going for a very early 4th Queen, so he might defend without it for now. He does have another Overlord coming in that right side. Ooh-wee. Adept's moving over to that third base. He's really trying to sell the story of I want to go for that third right now. But the Overlord's going to come in and confirm what's up pretty soon. There's going to be 2 Adepts out. All right, Ling's going to go after that Adept. She's going to go down. Good surround there by Solar. The other Adept's going to try to punish for it. Trying to make it look like he wants that third. At this point, the Robo does get spotted. It's finally revealed what's up. And you know what? Roach Warren goes down. Spore Crawler gets cancelled. He's going for 6 queens. He's not going to cancel any of those queens. This is a 37 probe Glaive Adept timing. I would say he's done so much trying to sell the story of I'm trying to take a quick third with a Stargate build that it does weaken the actual timing that he's going to hit at. He's got 5 Adepts. He'll warp in 4 more. So it's going to be 9 Adepts hitting at about 4 minutes 50. Which is not a terrible timing by any means, but it's not the craziest, hardest hitting one. On the other hand, Roach Warren's delayed, Spinecrawler's delayed. The queens are the front line of defense. Every queen gets pulled to the front for Solar. He's just left one behind. No, he's even brought the one out of the main base. Queens micro and back and forth. Enough Lings to stop the shade from completing for now. And Classic behind this, Robo Bay, 4 gases. Unfortunately, he's left the Overlord just sitting in his main. He's leaning everything into the Adepts right now. He ends up warping those Adepts on the low ground. Oh, careful, mate. Careful. No, get out, get out. Oh my god, he's taking damage. Okay, the Prism doesn't take too much beyond the shields, which is good for him. That Nexus taking a lot, or Hatchery taking a lot of damage. He's got to be careful with this Prism. He cannot afford to lose this Prism. Classic, keep it in your pants, buddy. Okay, the Prism does tuck itself away into that main base. Spinecrawler on the third. Oh, really helping out. Very nicely done. One Adept goes down. A second one's about to fall. This Adept count is no longer as scary, especially with the Roaches popping out. They take out the Spine and a bunch of Zerglings. He's going to try and cancel the Shade, go for the recall. But I think that's a very good defense by Solar. Look at the units lost tab. Yes, he's down on workers, but the moment you defend, you drone your 3 bases. you start that lair, and the third Nexus has only just begun for Classic. He's also doing the let's clump up the Adepts on the diagonal. It's the worst choke point, but he's got enough Adepts that it doesn't matter. You can't fight Glaive Adepts in a corner with just Speedlings. The Roaches, though, could cause trouble. Oh my god, is he just going to kill him with Roach Slaying? Dude, there's no battery. There's no battery. There's only one Disruptor. It's not down here. These Adepts need to run behind the mineral line right now. They need to get away from the Roaches and start a step against the Zerglings. But Solar's good. He keeps pulling them away. The Adepts do go into the main. They're shading in, causing the Zerglings to go home, which is pretty nicely done. The Adept's going to try to get back down to defend the third, but he can't let these Adepts get surrounded. Trying to focus drones on the other side of the map as well. Man, these drones just standing there. If Classic had the APM to focus them down, maybe he could get a big one. Big ball goes out. Slow Roach is not very good at running away, but enough. The third base gets killed, not cancelled. The Adepts need more damage. The drones are taking big damage. If Classic just chased those drones down, Classic has nothing at home. Solar has nothing at home to defend. But Classic, he's not doing it. Okay, the drones go back in. Finally, he's going to get some mad value out of these Adepts. Remember, he does not have a third base, though. He's got a 2 Disruptor mass Adept attack coming across the map. He's going to try and take a third behind it, but it will get slapped down by those Linglongs. Those 2 Adepts do survive and get out of there, but 14 drones have gone down. Solar's frantically trying to re-drone, and he's continuing to deny the base. I think Classic can go for it, man. I think if Classic, he's got 2 balls inside his Disruptor. He's got 19 Disruptors, and like any man with 2 balls and a will to take down his opponent, he absolutely could get slapping right now. I just don't think there's enough Roaches. There's 11 Roaches. The Disruptors are going to slay them. There's so many Adepts which make those Zerglings useless. I think Classic might be able to kill him, man. Oh! Okay, only a single Roach goes down. There we go. Here we go. The Adepts are going to shade up that ramp. Oh! The ramp! Run! Run, Queens! Oh, great spready from Solar. The Adepts here trying to now maneuver around. It feels like there's enough units. The Adepts need to start a step against those Zerglings. They need to make sure they keep fighting. Cancels the shade. Very well done. Those balls should be ready to fire again. They're cooling off. He's going to throw one more out. The Queens have been very good at tanking so far. Oh, careful with that ball. He loses one. He loses the one that was just about to come off cooldown as well. The Adepts have to get out of here. There's no third base behind this. Classic is floating money right now. He went too deep. I think he needed to slow it down with this counterattack. Look for efficient damage while taking a third, and I think Classic could have got some great value, but he goes a little bit too hard, man. Disruptor's going in there. Oh, 5 drones, not bad. I mean, he's keeping Solar's economy in the dumps. I just don't think it's enough. Oh, the Adepts like, please let me get back to the wall. Solar not watching, not able to take advantage. And the Adepts will be able to defend the third base for now, but 25 Roaches and Roach speed. And you're still making Adepts, which suck versus Roaches. The Disruptor drop needs to get back here. Adepts trying to fight without the help of the Disruptors is always a nasty. That Disruptor's trying to get close enough. Oh, you don't want to... Yeah, I think a flanking ball. If he can drop one up there and throw a flanking shot, but he's a bit obvious with it. Solar will be watching, man. There's no... Yeah, he's dropping way too close. What? Oh, okay, the second shot landed okay, but he lost another Disruptor. Classic going a bit too ballsy on that. Pun absolutely intended. Spire's on the way. Solar's out on workers. Solar can probably take a 4th base as well, even though his 3rd isn't heavily mining. And I think Mutas is a checkmate, because it's still just Adepts and Disruptors off 4 gates. I mean, Classic's been frozen in tech, production, and time for a long time. And I guess he's killed, what, 32 workers? 23, not as many as I thought. It's not enough. Oh, Classic's chucking a hero, guys, and Solar says, oh, that's my favorite thing. I love it when players chuck a hero. First ball whiffs, second one hits only a queen, and the Lings are into mineral lines. Oh man, he's going to try and defend himself. The Disruptor does take out the Zerglings there, but there's Lings in the main as well. Classic right now finds himself, he thought he was going on a trip to Protoss Town, but his mum and dad lied to him. They got him excited. He thought he was going to Protoss Theme Park. In fact, they were taking him to Dick Town, which is a historical town in Mississippi where they talk about how people used to name things poorly. It's one of the worst field trips you could ever have as a child with your family. It's terrible. It sucks. And that's how Classic's feeling right now. He does actually get a good Disruptor shot, but his Muta's out. And nothing shoots up in his entire arsenal. And ouchie, ouchies. Youchie, ouchies. This was really good play by Solar. Just kept things messy enough, man. I think the decisiveness to counterattack with those slow Roaches and Lings, a lot of players don't feel confident counterattacking. But he could kind of tell that Classic was overcommitting on the aggression and wasn't ready for it. And that very first cancel on the third, while just running drones away, I mean, it could have gone very bad for Solar if Classic was very good at finding those drones and shift-clicking them with the Adepts on the other side of the map. But he just wasn't able to get that up. And you can see the Disruptor gets clicked on by the Mutas. Lings go for the surround. Classic's going to have to tap out. Oh, right. Let's go, guys. Game number 4. And Classic is doing a gas first, no scout build. I guess this is why Solar hasn't been opening 15 hatch, because Classic apparently doesn't always block the base. Solar knows this habit and says, no, I'm going to go 16 hatch, very standard. Now, you might be wondering, why do you go gas first? The reason is, if you don't scout, you have more minerals available, and this only delays your gateway by a few seconds. And yet you just basically only have 16 workers able to mine efficiently. You've got an extra worker here mining. You've got the extra minerals from that. Getting the gas early just speeds up your entire build order. Now, he sent this probe to the natural a little late, I would say. You get that Nexus down really fast if you go straight for it. But it's going to go Nexus into Cybercore. And you can get a very quick Stargate while making Warp Gate and Chrono Boosting an Adept all at the same time. Or you could even go Stalker. It's actually wild how much gas you have with this build order. Cybercore goes down. He will have to build another gateway here or something like that later to just make the choke point a little bit stronger, because right now that's a full diagonal. That's basically impossible to wall off with a single unit. And the second gas and now second pylon goes down as well in the main base. Clean build order. Now, Solar's aware of this, guys, so if we go to Solar's camera, he says, well, I never saw a probe. I got my natural down, which is a little bit smoother for me, but I also need to be aware that my opponent's going to be able to do more and hit faster, sharper timings than they normally would. So, you know, your whole internal kind of clock of and scale of am I ahead, am I behind? It's like, I need to be ahead of where I normally am just to be even with my opponent. Link speed goes down. He's putting his overlords out on the map. You can see positioning these well. And we should be seeing a drone move out to that third base, which, yeah, he's already sent that one there. Notice Solar's already got all of his camera locations set up ahead of time. And that drone, he actually puts that drone builder on control group number 6. And then turns into the hatchery. Very cool to see. Let's go back to everyone's camera right now. Stargate did come down at 2 minutes 20. You can actually build it even faster than that. The problem is, if you go straight for the Stargate the moment the core finishes, then you actually start your oracles so quickly it's tough to afford a third base without having gaps in production anyway. So delaying the Stargate a couple seconds to just focus on probes, adepts, all this stuff is totally fine. Stalker will push back the Overlord for now, and we've got that first oracle coming out. As the Chrono Boost energy hits 50 on the Nexus, that becomes available, and you'll see that oracle get chronoed. Super clean build order. And of course, always remembering, when you start an oracle, you start a pylon right after that. So this is like these are like the fundamentals of a solid oracle opening in Protoss First Zerg. What you do next is, of course, going to tell us a lot about where this game's heading. Looks like he wants to move out for a third base well before 4 minutes. Oh, such a clean opening. Now, Solar needs to make sure he's good at navigating, not getting supply blocked, and just flooding out drones. He's got lots of Overlords building right now. He's actually building 8 more Zerglings. If he can cancel the third, that's great. But as it is, I feel like he really needs more drones. He's only at 35 right now. The Oracle pressure will start. 2 queens on the natural, 2 in the main. Well done. Get out of there, Classic. Oh, actually, Classic's going to dive for it. I think that was worth, because he kind of got wedged between the queens. The best way out was actually to just keep going forward there. 2 drones, a very successful first run by. Only takes 21 hit points of damage. Another Oracle's coming across. Now, he's going to join those up, right? It's easier to micro the Oracles in one spot than 2, but sometimes there is an advantage to just diving the third with a single Oracle. Then right after this Oracle dives the natural or the main again. Looks like he's going to join up for the main base, but the Spore Crawlers coming in everywhere except the third. Doesn't look like Classic will find much damage. Adepts are alive out here. Nothing in the wall off. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Sorry, guys. We're trying to click on that mini-map. Oh, my lord. Oracles are going around the back, but he's not really able to micro that while microing all this other stuff. Are we going to see some probes go down? Yeah, already 2 of them do fall. Oracle's going to micro at the same time. But that is a big success for Solar. This is so much better for him. Oh, as I say it. Okay, Classic. Good multitasking. Very good multitasking. Wow. Okay, yeah. He loses 6 probes. It's still not good for the Protoss. I would say that's worth it for Solar. But remember, Solar also lost 10 Zerglings. So it's okay, definitely, for Classic. Especially now he's got 7 Adepts. He can do a 7 Adept counter pressure. This is going to force a lot of Zerglings out of Solar Souls going Overlord speed. Overlord speed? Is Solar doing a German taxi? I don't think he's ready for that. I don't think it's fast enough. Oh, throws away an Oracle for a single drone. That was not the most effective pressure. The Adepts are shading in, but they're in disarray. They are not clumped up. Classic going for what I can only call a desperate YOLO right now. I don't think he needs to be playing so desperately. His third getting ransacked by Lings. The Adepts running in here. He misclicked the Extractor with a few of them. Does take out 4 or 5 workers, which is decent. And the Adepts shade into the main. This could be some very significant damage. Classic needs to fight, Solar needs to fight with those drones. He could have surrounded and killed those Adepts by now. But instead, running away a little bit slow. It's either run away or turn and fight, one or the other. And when those Adepts get surrounded like that, I think fighting is the better play. Classic is now way ahead after that damage. But there's a lot of Zerglings on the map. He needs to defend this worker line, which is what he's been struggling with so much. 2 batteries going down in that base. Looks like only 1 probe fell there. Forge is getting +1. Blinkers on the way, and a Void Ray is being built, which he can use to clean up the Overlords on the edge and to just make sure he doesn't die. He's only on 2 gates right now. He has very little Oracle energy. This is why Classic, I told you, there's a lot of Lings out. This game is a seesaw, man. Every time someone finds a lot of damage, they overcommit, lose too many units doing it, and take massive damage to the counterattack. This game is turning into a poop shoot. Solar is way ahead on supply right now with mass Roach Ravager Ling. The German taxi is here. There are batteries on the way. One of them is finished. The Oracles are mostly out of juice, but with battery overcharge, I think he can do okay. If he can take out the Stalkers, that's actually good for Classic. He's killed one of them. He might be able to win the air battle. 1 Oracle went down. The Void Ray trying to micro back in range of this. It's focusing the Roaches down right now. Ravagers are getting focused down as they try to morph. Good focus fire by Classic. You don't want to let those Ravagers finish morphing. Great defense by Classic. Even off just 2 gateways, he's now got 5 gateways finished. And look at the way he full-walled his natural. He knew he couldn't defend his natural and his third at the same time. And he's managed to hold on here. Each time he warps in 4 or 5 Stalkers, you can see the numbers are too good for him. The Overlord's trying to make the slowest getaway of all time. But much like a senior citizen in a mobility scooter, when you've got a few of those highway patrol cops on motorbikes after you, you can try to run, but it's not advisable. It's what we call basically refusing to give up. But you know there's a helicopter chasing you. You know you're not going to get away. But much like a senior citizen, they do poo on the ground in the middle of that apprehension. Or being apprehended, I should say. Apprehension and apprehended, slightly different words, but I'm sure the officer doing the, apprehending of the suspect did feel a little apprehensive upon seeing the doo-doo on the ground, which they immediately cleaned up. Creep Tumor unable to spread. Classic's got the worker advantage. Solar desperately tries to take a 4th base, but that was a massively committed attack. Roach speed will come in, but no Evo chamber upgrades against +1 Blink Stalkers with +2 on the way. 6 gases coming in, so Classic's going to round out his tech behind this. He's not going to go for the mass charge lot Stalker style. He's going to actually go into, I would imagine, Colossus or Disruptors behind this and treat the Stalkers just as a nice counter pressure to get some efficiency. Look at that, just keeps blinking back the weak Stalkers from the front to the back, picking off a few units for free. And Solar finds himself pinned against the wall on 51 drones, forced to build units to stop himself from dying. But essentially, it's just going to be round 2 of I'm shoving Roach Queen Zergling at you and hoping to overwhelm. Second Robo Bay is on the way. Lings come in, take out one of the 3 shield batteries on the base and realize that's not the most effective. Solar's looking pretty done in this game. He's just going to try to surprise with this move. But Classic seems to be incredibly respectful. Pulls his whole army home. Sets up. He sees Roaches and Lings rallying through the middle. And that there is a big tell. Why? What is this? What's going on over here? Classic is about to see a giant army coming in. And he's actually moving some Lings to the top left. A few Lings, or Stalkers to the top left. A few Lings distracted him there. Battery overcharge is going to go down. The Roach Ravager doesn't really stand much of a chance here. The Stalker's defended by the battery overcharge. The Oracle turns the laser beam on, and you can see it's shift-clicked on those Ravagers. See those red lines targeting those nicely as Classic. Disruptors are on the way behind this as well, but just pulling back these Stalkers using their range and their mobility is fantastic. The other Oracle turns on its laser beam. I think Classic could have slightly better blink micro to maybe dodge some of these Roach volleys. For those who don't know, the Roaches, the animation, you could dodge it. As those vomits are in midair, if you blink back the Stalkers very quickly, you can actually dodge some of the damage and negate it completely. As it is, though, the positioning is pretty fantastic. Classic pulls behind the mineral line. He goes for a big probe surround. Now, you don't want to be fighting with probe, but notice he A moves, and then he goes hold position. So he tanks a bunch of damage on the probes, but by stopping the attack, he only loses 9 workers. The Roaches, the Queens, start trying to focus his Stalkers down instead. Due to the attack priority, they don't consider a worker that isn't attacking anymore a threat. So the moment you hold position those workers, the Roaches ignore them and try to retarget onto those Stalkers. Very well played by Classic. He holds on. He did lose a few workers. Evo Chamber Baneling nested a few drones come out. Solar's trying to make some lemonade, but I feel like this is a very sour set of lemons that he's being given in this game. Ling run-bys on the bottom right. A pack of unupgraded Roaches in the middle. Looks like another unit did get picked off, I believe, an Overlord. Disruptors. Now, a lot of people out there talk about genetic abnormalities giving advantages to athletes. Double joints for that swimming. What was that swimming guy? He won a ton of gold medals. He had, like, you know, crazy arms and stuff. But in StarCraft, I believe if you're one of the rare Protoss who's actually born with 4 balls, you are much more powerful than your regular Protoss. So he's got 4 balls there rather than the normal 2 that go inside the Warp Prism. And that's going to give him a lot of explosive payoff. We've got 6 more Disruptors now. So it's actually continuing to grow and grow. And +1 melee Baneling speed coming in. If Solar was at 75 workers now, I'd believe, but 65, very little creep spread. He's got a lot of work to do. A cancel on that Nexus would be nice, but the Stalker's in nearby. He never actually made charge, but a few Zealots are in the mix to help deal with the heavy Zergling focus. Solar's kind of stuck on mass link production. He's got to hope that Classic gets out of position and gives him an opportunity. Classic, though, is really dotting his I's, crossing his T's, and giving no opportunities to this aggressive Zerg play to find that opening. All right, we've got 4 more Ravagers on the way. Banelings as well. Ling's moving down that right side. Oracle coming down the bottom right. This is going to be his first information of where is the economy at. This is what Classic wants to find out. I don't know what he's not, though. This is kind of weird, guys. Like, 101 of Scouting vs. Zerg is check their work account. I guess seeing a 4th full of workers doesn't tell you that much since it's so late in the game. The main and the natural are mining out. Disruptors not going to be impacted by those Zerglings. Too many Stalkers defending those. Baneling speed's almost here. Solar is basically just doing a 66 drone Roach Ravager Ling Bane max. Classic's only on 59 workers. He's actually in trouble if he loses all that economy on that 3rd. And with those Banelings running in, I mean, that could be the case. He's building a lot of cannons and batteries, but he's actually going very aggressive. There's no cannon on the 3rd. Oh me, oh my. Classic's economy in the doo-doo. No! Solar misclicked on the Nexus, so his Banelings just blow up on the Nexus. Disruptors cleansing the Banelings on the front with righteous fury. Oh my lord! Just, honestly, that is the fury of Tide Pods on a kid that wants TikTok clout. That's what that was. Except in this case, he force-fed it to his opponent. Those Disruptors blew up the entire army. Solar couldn't get nothing done. I did like the Queen drop attempt in that messy, scrappy game to try to break him, but Classic, very good, just non-stop warping in off 2 gates on his Blink Stalkers. He held on very well. Alright guys, game 5 to decide it all on Gressman. Classic coming across with that probe block in the top left side. Of course, it is expensive because you got to bring a 2nd probe to get the gateway, but just going for that standard opening this time now. Solar is actually only on 15 supply! He's going for the 15 hatch. So he did the Overlord. So he's doing it like a 16 hatch. You go Overlord, then 15 hatch. I actually do think just going 15 hatch, 15 pulls slightly better. But this plays out more like a normal build. You just delayed 1 drone coming out by 20 seconds. You know, it's pretty similar to doing a 16 hatch rebuild. So it's obviously what Solar's familiar with. And not a bad way of playing at all, man. Like I said, if your opponent's going to keep doing that, why not? Looks like they had to do a pause for some technical issue. When they were playing this live, I'm obviously casting it off a replay. Spawning pool's going to go down. If it happens again, I'm out. Oh, Chicken Man was lagging. That's the problem with Chicken Men. I mean, I'm not racist, but Chicken Men should not be casting StarCraft. Have you ever seen how they hook up internet in a chicken pen What do they call a chicken pen? Is it a pen? A chicken roost? I don't know. Anyway, random tangent aside. Coop, that's the name. Coop. Thank you. Or little bitch, as they call the coop in basketball. Anyways, ancient Trey Parker and Matt Stone references aside, Classic is going to be doing a pretty standard follow-up so far. The probe is going to try and... Actually, no, little bitch's name wasn't Coop. That was Trey Parker's name in that movie. Damn it! It was almost a decent reference, but not really. Probe's going to move down to the natural. Double Queen is on the way. Link Speed's making as well. Okay, Stargate opening. All right, I like it. Okay, so what I'm really interested to see in this series, now game 5, right? Solar does have the big head-to-head advantage. I don't think I told you guys the stats so far in this cast. He's like 62 or 63% in head-to-head versus Classic. So pretty high, not quite 2-to-1, but definitely ahead in that. Now, a lot of that has come in like the last year. They've played in a lot of online tournaments. Solar's there every week, and obviously Classic's been kind of rebuilding his skill level after the military. So it's not particularly surprising, but I definitely feel like the pressure is on Classic a little bit here. I do wonder, does he go back to the Colossus timing or not? Here we go. Oh, man. Oh, because they would have played this on Korea. Okay, so for those who don't know, Korean server has a lot of issues like this. It's not even necessarily the cast is full. Wardy has the same issue when he's casting on Korea, as do I. Sometimes the Blizzard servers are just a bit poopy. Adept focusing down the drones, but nice spore trick for Solar. Claps the Adept pressure down. He's going to try and shade on backwards. Does take out one Zergling on the way out, but the Lings chase it down, take it out. There is another Adept out right now, and it is going to head home. Oracle's going to move out. Third base should be taken in the near future. Behind this, Solar's not taking any chances. He's got a very early spore on the natural. That's going to allow his queens to move over to the third and escort any drones that he moves over there. Solar's still with a very tight Overlord pattern. I notice he doesn't put those Overlords very far out, but look at that. Ling's going to find a probe. Nope. Mineral walks back inside. And Oracle's going to come in. Quick pull. Oh, real nice pull. Classic goes a bit deep there, man. For only one drone, losing 45 hit points on the Oracle is huge, because that reduces the renewability. The ability to just keep going in over and over and finding damage. 55 hit points puts you in danger of always getting shot down. Third and fourth gas going down behind this. Classic's playing a very normal style. The problem I have is he's playing Solar. Game 5 of a series, most players play safe. Solar's the man who just picks up a brick and smashes it into your face. But you're there trying to do fancy, feinting and dodging and combat sports, technical stuff. Meanwhile, and another pause. I really do feel for the players when this happens, but it's kind of hard. Often it's not just one caster that does it. Anyways. But yeah, I really feel Solar sometimes will look for a very simple solution. The one thing that's going for Classic is he's playing kind of greedy and standard. Solar is actually playing greedy and standard as well. He's going Roachhorn very late in this game. And he doesn't really have any aggressive opportunities off that. The Oracles are going to dive. Oh no. Oh, Classic, what are we doing? He goes in, turns on the Oracles, finds jack all damage, loses an Oracle. The Queens are shutting it down. 8 more drones on the way. Mass Gateway coming in. Classic's doing a +1 blink timing, I believe. But these gateways seem too early. I think Classic's scared. Classic, yeah, he's building a battery and he's massing gateways. He was interrupting his probe production to do it. He thinks Solar's all-inning him. He thinks Solar's all-inning him, guys. He's got a complete misread on this game. He's now seeing all these gases and all these drones, and he's realizing, oh, wait a second, no, this is actually a big macro game. He gets 2 more workers, which is something. The 4th base is not that fast for Solar. That is the one saving grace for Classic. But Classic now dropping his 5th and 6th gas. I think we're going to see a Robo momentarily. As he realizes, yeah, he's got to catch up on the tech. Robo underneath the Overlord, though, does see that. Solar's got the information advantage and the worker momentum advantage. And he's going to go Spire, a very, very smart thing to do this. Ooh, okay. All right, Lings are going to elevate into the main. Oh, fancy. So this is great for scouting what your opponent's up to, but also you can get massive damage with just 8 Zerglings and an Overlord. It's so cheap. You should usually cue the Overlord to run away afterwards so it doesn't get hunted down by the Stalkers. But this can do massive damage. Second Robo's on the way, both under the Overlord. Classic! No, what are you doing? You can't build for a double Colossus timing in vision of the Overlord. Meanwhile, Classic has next to no vision. He doesn't know that it's a Spire. Lings come in. Luckily, he scouts it pretty early, but Solar's focus fire was pretty good. He gets 3 probes. Well worth losing 8 Zerglings. The Overlord makes the slowest getaway of all time. $69 drones here. Second Robo, a single Phoenix is building. Classic seems to realize something's up. He didn't see the Spire, though. So he's building Phoenix for safety, but man, going second Robo-Bait is so bad versus Spire. This series has been very back and forth and quite technical in terms of their build choices, but it feels like at this point... Oh no, a cancel on the 4th as well. The Oracle's coming back. It feels like Classic was kind of reacting to his own shadow in this game. He realizes the Overlord has seen everything. The first 9 mutas are on the way with +1. And not just that, 8 gases. An 8-gas Zerg can play mass Mutalisk, and that is unstoppable. Single Stargate Phoenix does not stop that. And he's not even going single Star Phoenix, he just built 1 to stop the Dropper Lord. Oh me, oh my. I mean, he's actually lucky that Solar's only built 9 mutas. He's actually lucky that his Prism's going to scout it as well. If it was mass muta, which I think Solar is considering swapping back into later, he'd be in huge problem. Oh, snap recall! Not enough, does get taken out. Looks like the Adepts are going to go in. Grabbing a few drones would be good. Pulling Solar's attention away is the most important thing here. Stalker's looking for the intercept. 7 more mutas on the way. He's doing it, guys. We're going to see mass Mutalisks. I feel like Solar is not the happiest that he's been forced back, but he's going 10 gas and above 80 workers. Oh, man. And we're going to see a Colossus timing. The problem is there is going to be so many Mutalisks in about a minute. I think you have to commit with these first 2 Colossus. I think chrono that Prism and go right now. If you're not going for Phoenix right now to Stargate, you need to go for an attack very soon. Man, a Templar Archives would actually be game-changing. If he gets a few Archons, he can beat the mutas in a fight. If he doesn't get a few Archons, he's going to be screwed in that regard. 24 Stalkers versus 21 mutas. The mutas still can't match. But with 10 gases coming up, and notice he's already transferring workers over there. Just needs to put them on gas still. But he will be able to massively outscale the production of Classic. Now, Classic has got a decent Stalker squad, but that's enough mutas to potentially fight it. Does lose 1 muta, 2 muta. Great catch by Classic. Classic's doing a really good job of this. I think he should also go Armor after +2 attack. Armor is incredibly valuable versus Ling muta. Something a lot of Protoss players forget. Archons and Armor upgrades beat them in frontal fights. The thing is, Archons aren't mobile, and that's why Classic is just focusing on the Stalker count. Oh, he's going to get a few mutas on the retreat. Maybe just 1. Oh, but the Lings are so good versus the Stalkers. Where are the Colossus? The Colossus are pulling back to the south. Classic needs the Colossus helping against the Zerglings. Otherwise, they're going to be way too efficient. Solar has 83 workers and 10 gases mining right now. He can remake mutas for days, and his Zergling count's off the chain as well. Mutas go after a Colossus. Oh my! They snag that bad boy. And you can see there's just no big AoE threat to deal with him. There's no Phoenix giving the range advantage to kite them down. Solar played a very clean, confident macro game. Classic looked a little scared in the early game. And we're seeing now that what looked like a promising early defense is turning into a swarm of Zerg. Those +1 Mutalisks, they do 10 damage on the first impact. It bounces twice as well, doing 33.3% damage to each following target. There we go. He's going to go in the main base as well. That base is going to get ransacked. No 4th for Classic. Classic has 30 Stalkers, 1 Colossus, a Warp Prism, and a Dream. But for Solar, it's a very easy piece of calculus. A lot of Zergs will say, how do I beat this army? Can I? Can't I? I think I can, maybe not. But you just base trade is an easy win condition, and it's absolutely what he should focus on. There's no reason to come back and fight the army. Just win the base trade. You have so much more mobility than him. Focus the Cyber Core so he can't make more Stalkers. Split up and take out all the probes in the next eye. And that's exactly what Solar's doing. There's no reason to fight this army. This army sucks at killing bases. Lings are the highest damage unit in the game for their supply. They will absolutely destroy this base well before you can do it. As long as Solar hides a few drones across the map, he'll be fine. But there's a chance that Solar won't even lose all of his bases. I mean, he's going to kill all these buildings. I don't think there's any probes on the map. Classic is going to need to recall. But those Lings are going to kill that Nexus pretty quickly. 400 shields and 1,000 hit points. 200 shields and 1,000 hit points. He's trying to warp in Zealots right now. The mutas are coming back to deal with his army. That Nexus is down to 800 hit points. Classic is done. He's not even looking to recall right now. He's trying to just kill everything he can. But look at that, guys. That is 42 Mutalisks with +1 attack. The +2 Stalkers ain't no match for that. The Mutas even focus down the Colossus, which allows Zerglings to smash. The Mutas actually disengage for a moment. The Lings are coming. Solar says, I could win the base trade, but I'd like to kill your army because that's fun. So Solar right now is like, me want kill army. So he's going to wait for the Lings to get back. He's going to surround with the Lings. The Mutas will engage, and I think about 20 Zerglings will die in this battle versus the entire Protoss army disappearing. This army is just not cut out to deal with Mutal Zergling. Solar changes his mind and decides to go for the base trade, I guess because he got the notification and he can see all the buildings now. So he says, oh, you don't have a Nexus? Oh, I guess I can win the base trade. Okay, Solar, this has been the slowest choice to base trade, to then back out of the base trade, to then recommit to the base trade. He did evacuate his drones though, so he's rebuilding elsewhere, but like it's such an easy win condition. It's just funny that Solar's taking so long to do it. His Mutas have just been flying around in circles for a long time, but he's finally going to finish it off. And the power of never going Mutas until game 5 in the deciding match strikes again. What are you doing? Okay, there's a Nexus rebuilding, so now he's pulling back his whole... Just finish the buildings and then do it, man. He'll leave a few drones to finish those buildings. He's going to come back. Solar showing some of the biggest lack of decisiveness I've seen from him in a long time. He's breaking rocks right now. I mean, surely this is the easiest victory of all time, isn't it? There's one probe on the map, so obviously he could play it slow and rebuild. He's hiding extractors just to make sure he can't be eliminated. Are we serious, Solar? What are you doing? I'm on Solar's camera right now. Is he trolling, guys? He must think there's more Stalkers than there are. I mean, there's just no way you lose this fight. I guess Force Fields could hold him back, right? Force Fields hold back the Zerglings and the Stalkers do very good defensive blink micro. Oh, but he's pushing in. Okay, easy choice to go for the flank now. Now that he's not in a choke point, Guardian Shield Stalkers trying to hallucinate an Archon. The Mutas dive on top. They don't even focus the Stalkers. They just A-move. But there's way too much damage. The Mutas, Lings, and drones killing it. As you can see, very few Mutalisks die in that fight. Solar finally sealing the deal. Oh my god, I thought we were going to have a Solar nuke moment where he kind of like panics or something and just makes some bad decisions. But at the end of the day, Solar is still too good for Classic. Classic, he's been looking really good, and he is getting a lot better. But just that tiny gap on being able to beat these top Zergs in a best of 5, something he's still got to work on. GG, well played.